Our lives depend primarily on the land. It provides basic life support systems and is the core of our economy and society. The problem is humans interfere with the natural cycles as technology and population develop. How are we interfering, you say? Don't worry, our group Land Protectors will enlighten you on the things people do that negatively affect our land, our home. Here are the unwanted destroyers of the land.
Sulfur, phosphorus, iron, and rock mineral components are the most common features in the earth-bound cycle. The weathering of rock preceded by the degradation of minerals, subsequent movement and deposition, and eventually burial is characterized as a sedimentary cycle. Parts of the sedimentary cycle. First is weathering of the pre-existing rock components wherein the surface of the Earth's minerals and rocks are dissolving and followed by the process of placement of the minerals and rock caused by the natural forces and accompanied by the formation of mobility and weathering. Next is the minerals erosion, where natural forces strip the weathered minerals and rock fragments. Then the position in which the sediments are descending to the sea bottom would illustrate sediments accumulating throughout one area. Finally, burial is periodically covered by the subsequent deposits as sediments are collected. They were creating sedimentary rock by layering components together.
The phosphorus cycle is a type of biogeochemical cycle that shows the movement of phosphorus in the terrestrial ecosystem. It is the circulation or cycle of phosphorus in different forms through nature. The circulation or cycle of phosphorus happens first in rocks through weathering. The weathering causes rocks or sediments to produce phosphate ion and other minerals, and then that released phosphate will be spread into soils and water. After the phosphorus is distributed to the soil and water, the producers will absorb these inorganic phosphates through the roots from the soil. Eventually, these producers will be a food to animals, making the phosphorus move up or cycle within the food chain. Next is when the animals with incorporated phosphate dies, it then decays and the decomposition happens. The organic phosphate will then return to soil. Over time, the phosphorus returned to the soil can lead to the waterways and oceans that then will be now incorporated into rocks and sediments, completing the cycle.
Modifying the environment to fit the needs of society is causing severe effects. One of the human activities that cause damage to the environment is mining, which causes soil erosion, sinkholes, deforestation, biodiversity loss, and contamination of soil. Humans have greatly influenced the phosphorus cycle. They have mined it, turned it into fertilizers, and shipped it all over the world. Producing fertilizer by removing significant amounts of phosphate from the soil and adding excess phosphates to aquatic systems from runoff of animal waste and fertilizers are other anthropogenic effects. As mentioned, deforestation is also a problem. More food, resources, and shelter are being produced at incredible rates as the human population grows exponentially, with most of the production coming from forestry. Furthermore, synthetic fertilizers and anthropogenic eutrophication have been proposed to represent catastrophic risks to the species' survival. The demands of our increasing human family and the expanding human population are putting stress on our environment. Because of human intervention, our environment has been permanently altered. However, though some of these changes may be negative, we humans also have the opportunity to correct our mistakes and change our environment for the better.
So, what are invasive species? These are species that are non-native organisms that cause harm in the environment, humans, and ecosystem. Invasive species may devastate an ecosystem's natural resources while also posing a hazard to human usage of those resources. It has the potential to extirpate native plants and animals, reduce biodiversity, compete with native creatures for limited resources, and modify environments. This has the potential to have the significant economic consequences as well as fundamental disturbances to the coastal and Great Lakes ecosystem. How do invasive species spread? Firstly, human actions are mostly responsible for the spread of invasive species, which is often unintended. People, the goods, travel, and the things they carry are often the cause of spreading invasive species. For examples, Aquatic creatures can be carried by the ships in their ballast water, while smaller boats can transport them on their propellers. Insects may get inside wood, shipping pallets and crates that are sent all over the world. Some ornamental plants have the potential to go into the wild and become invasive. Furthermore, some invasive species are purposely or unintentionally discharged pets. Secondly, climate change will allow some invasive plant species, such as garlic mustard, kudzu, and purple loosestrife, to spread into new regions due to increased average temperatures and changes in rain and snow patterns. Insect pest infestation will worsen as pests like mountain pine beetle take advantage of drought-weakened vegetations. What are the examples of invasive species? First, algae. It poses a threat when it increases in number. With too many algae, it reduces the oxygen in the river and threatens the life of seawater animals. This process is called eutrophication. Second, kudzu. It is a Japanese vine that can grow up to 100 feet long. It can quickly smother houses, trees, and anything in its surroundings that becomes damaging invader. Lastly, purple loosestrife. It affects wildlife and agriculture. It eliminates food, shelter, and nesting for animals in the wildlife, reducing the habitat size. So what are the ways in prevention for invasive species? Firstly, remove any visible plant matter, animal, mud, and dirt from your equipment and yourself. Don't release exotic animals, plants in an open area or into the wild. And lastly, when researching and experimenting, proper procedures should be met to prevent spreading of invasive species.
Finally, in DNA sequencing mutations, epigenetics refers to stable mitotic or meiotic chromatin mutations that alter gene expression and independent phenotypic properties. What are the epigenetics of phosphorus and sediment cycle? The phosphorus is a nutrient cycle that describes how phosphorus chemicals move and transform through the lithosphere, hydrosphere, and biosphere. As a result, the vast majority of phosphorus is found in rocks, sediment, sand, sea level, and fractions of living biomass. Phosphorus is required for aquatic life and the quality of water. Phosphorus is a mineral that is abundant in phosphate rocks and enters the erosion cycle as well as mining operations. Sediment cycles, on the other hand, are similar to those found in the Earth's crust. Sediment cycles contain phosphorus, sulfur, iron, calcium, and other terrestrial elements. In the sediment cycle, nutrients move from the soil to the water and sediment. The ground and rocky outcrops are the main bodies of water. Climate change depletes the Earth's minerals, such as salt, which dissolves in water and travels through a variety of organisms before reaching the deep ocean.
Therefore, be a land protector, not an unwanted destroyer. Thank you for watching.